Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Factorio. I've been doing some testing with my recording, and when the game slows down for me when I'm recording, it slows down for you as well. It's really strange how it does that. If I zoom in, it's not as bad. Now it's sort of back up to normal. But this episode I just want to talk about something at the beginning. I've been enjoying this game so much that I've been playing a lot of it, sort of pre-recording lots of episodes. So I probably record like 1 or 2 episodes a day and then I release them every other day. So this isn't due to come out for another week, the episode that I'm recording right now. And one thing that I do like about making videos is the comments, reading what you guys have to say. We can learn from each other because I've been trying to show you what I've been learning, and at the same time some of you are playing this game as well and probably have things you want to share with me, which is something that I'm missing out on. So I decided that this episode I'd try and get a lot of progress done, although it does look like we're going to be looking at some new things as well. So anyway, we'll start off by showing you my current setup, because I've changed things around. Now this right here is really important. I think running 2 materials along a track is the way to go, although saying that, you can take off of that track using the red inserters. So possibly if you needed like a really high amount of materials to work with, then you could have 2 tracks alongside each other and then have red and yellow inserters on either side. But enough about that. At the moment, having 2 tracks like this is really good. So what I decided to do is switch this one over exclusively to iron. I also upgraded the coal track as well, so it inputs enough coal for us to move over to the copper that we have over the other side. And so all of these tracks are now red, going all the way down here. And yeah, you can see where it comes in off the yellow track here. And yeah, that gives us enough coal to do both copper and iron. So let's move around this way, and I'll show you the copper setup. Basically what I've gone for is enough electric mining drills that we have not all of them running at the same time. So these ones, although they're probably producing one and ready to output one, it's got nowhere to put it, so it just stops working. And I like this because when some of these mining drills start running out of resources, other ones will take over as they stop outputting them, so it gives you a bit of time to prepare and notice that you're running low on copper. And then you have this constant stream coming in here, and then all of this can basically output as much as it can. And at the moment all of this is backed up, which is kind of a good thing. This is how I would like the whole system to run. So when it backs up, it gives you an indication that you can be using more resources, and it looks like it's backed up a little over here on iron as well. So I don't think I've done much else. Oh yeah, actually here's another thing that I've learnt. I didn't have enough of these boilers down. Now I don't know why, but I got it in my head that after a few the temperature goes up to 100. If you look here, it goes from 27, it goes up about 10 or 9 each time. So you actually need quite a lot of these, and now that I've added in these extra ones, the performance is much better. And it's the same thing over here, although this first one's performance isn't very good. And this one, the temperature is 100 and the available performance is just below 1. It might not actually be possible to get it all the way up to the top of that, but yeah, I've been putting down more steam engines and I made that more efficient, because at one point there was loads of coal here and everything started getting a power out. And that's how I learned what I'd done wrong there. Okay, so as always, potion production is what's going on for our research. We're running short on rockets, it looks like, and also advanced electronic circuits, which doesn't make a lot of sense. Maybe we're producing too much copper because all of this was backed up. So somewhere down here we should be able to see. No, it just looks like we're outputting enough that the line's always going to be full. So anyway, I'm not researching something at this particular moment, and the reason why is because I wanted to show you what there is left to do. Now this one here, lab effectivity, I'm sure that's the wrong word, it should be efficiency. That has gone up to level 4, and I've just chosen this a few times, and then I've realised that it seems like it can continuously go up, although this one appears to have a maximum at level 2. And I noticed that because I was looking at some of the other things that you need to research. This thing here requires level 5 of that, and so that's when I noticed the whole level thing. Basically this is going to continue going up each time that you research it. So I don't know how far that's going to go up, that's why I'm not going to do that one anymore. but it's made it so that my research is really fast. If I start doing this one, you can probably see while I'm talking how far along it's going to go. So soon we're going to be done with the blue potion research, and at that point I'm going to be making just red and green ones, it looks like, because these, saying that, there's probably ones that use all four. Yeah, these other ones just use red, green, and the one that you make using the alien artifacts, and that one uses all five, so we'll probably do that first. And yeah, and basically all of this, what I'm doing now, is going to be very time consuming. I have made some upgrades to the old system that we had here. I made it so there's a lot more of these even making electronic circuits, and only one or two even making iron clogs. And this little thing here is just for me to dump some transport belts into there, and then it helps me make red ones because they take quite a while to craft, and I've been upgrading a lot of my tracks. And so yeah, the next bit is going to be really time consuming. It's just getting along with all of the research, but you can see here I've already done 2 bits of my solar energy research, and that's because of the efficiency upgrades to the lab. So let's just go over here, have a look. Blue potions is really annoying. There's nowhere to walk, just got to walk across everything. Okay, so it looks like we've actually used a whole load of blue potions. This is why it's going so fast at the moment. They all got backed up because I didn't research anything for a while, and so now the research is going fast, but it might slow down if we run out of these blue ones. So yeah, I'll come back when I've done all of that research. So I've been researching, and I've run out of things to research now, but for a while I've just been sort of paying attention to what's going on around here and seeing some flaws in the layout that I've made. So this a moment ago was like this, and what happens is all of the copper cables get backed up, and these 4 that produce them here don't even get to really put them onto the tracks, so they get distributed onto this one here, and then you can see they can get split up. And I've just had a thought, if we had these on both sides of the track, then they might get distributed onto this bit faster, and then when this comes around here, they barely really make it over to this point here. So what I decided to do was take away the last one here, so these ones will be producing and going across and up here, but it doesn't really make any difference because it then means that 2 further down start producing, and this is the only one that really benefits from it. If we could inject these further back, that would be a good thing, because then they would come through here more frequently, and we could produce more advanced electronic circuits, and also electronic circuits for this bit over here. But I have just had even the idea of putting them on the other side of the track, which I think I can set up pretty quickly actually. If we divide the track here, and I tell you what, it is going super slow for me now that I'm recording. What we would have to do is actually just go down like that. Yep, and go down that way, and then they're going to be put on the other side of the track like that. Ha! Didn't think of that a minute ago. Let's see if that distributes better. You can see the rate that they're going through at the moment, and then when the other ones come along, it's hard to tell, but they might be slightly closer together. There's a lot to be learnt with how to manage tracks, and yeah, the amount of resources you put on them. So, I haven't been researching while I've been waiting to do more research, because the next research involves the alien artifacts that we need to make those potions. I've just been letting everything back up and get to the point where it can't produce anymore, and all the materials get backed up and the system sort of stands down, and that's probably not going to happen until these are backed up all the way, and also the rockets as well. But then I've been thinking about how I need to get these alien artifacts. We get them from killing creepers and creeper spawners, and one tip that I haven't been given, I saw it on the forum. Now I'm going to zoom out here to try and spot a creeper spawner. There'll be one somewhere around here, you know what they look like. Now apparently the further out you go, the more frequently they appear. So rather than going around and hunting for individual ones, apparently if you are to just go in one direction for a long time, you'll get to the point where they're all over the place, and that makes the alien artifacts a lot easier to hunt down. So I'm going to need to gear up, and I'm not sure what it is I'm going to need, but I can't help but feel my main source of ammunition is going to be those rockets, so I want to mass produce those at the moment. Also I need to do a few test runs and make sure that this armour's okay, because I don't want to go really far out underprepared and then just get killed. That would really suck. So yeah, so right, this is our current setup for making rockets. We have 4 of these in a row, and what I'm thinking of doing is making this more compact and efficient. I did have an idea for a design a moment ago, but I'm not 100% sure about it. Excuse me. But basically I want to make it so that we don't have to keep extending the line at the top here. Obviously we would as we add more things, but we want a smarter arrangement than having all of them like lined out like this, so that we can, yeah, compact. You know what I'm talking about. Possibly make it so we can have these 3 in a row, like going down this way, and then we can stack them side by side, and it's just more space efficient. So I think what that's going to involve is taking some of the copper off of this line, going down the side here, and then having a bunch of assembling machines that make copper cables, and then that going back up and going alongside the track that we already have here. Yeah, but I'm not 100% sure about that. Anyway, that's what I'm trying to do next, so I'm going to give myself some time to think and build and see what I can come up with. So I've decided what I want to do, and it's possible that this isn't the most compact way of doing it, but at the moment I'm still learning about this game, so I think this is a pretty clever way of doing it. This one over here makes copper cables, and this one over here makes iron clogs. So what I'm thinking of doing is having a track that runs down like this, and then another track further over this side that runs down, and then they both loop up, and another track goes up the middle. And the reason it's laid out like that is so that these inserters will put the items on the other side of the track, so you've got an assembly machine on each side, and then that track gets to have 2 materials on it. Then when that track comes back up here, it goes alongside the one with the iron plates and the copper cables, and although the iron plates is the only one that we're going to be using, some long-handed inserters can take them and put them into these 2 here. So that means that we would make our setup just 2 wide feeding off of this track, so that means we've sort of halved the amount of space that this is taking up, although we need the extra space for the copper cables and iron clogs. So I'll set that up and I'll show you it in action. Okay, the setup is almost done. It's going to be interesting to see how this works, because all of this is backed up now. We've absolutely maxed out our production on everything. All of this is backed up all the way. So one thing that I made a mistake is right here. This is where our rockets go back in to make blue potions, and I should have left a little bit of gap here. It means I'm going to have to take away these 2 just to get those across, unless I can find an alternate route. So anyway, what we need to do to get this thing up and running is to first of all turn all of these into clogs, and then the ones on the other side into copper cables. Let's go over there and just get the top one. And it is really laggy. Let's zoom in. That usually reduces the lag a little bit. And it's not always this bad when I record as well. Today it's just, I don't know, it just seems that extra bit laggy. So there's a few things that we're looking for here. First of all is that our filter inserter at the top can keep up. If it can't, what we can do is add an extra bit of track just there and have 2 of these, same on the other side. The other thing it will be interesting to see is if it produces enough copper cables and iron clogs for all of these to be making rockets at the same time. So after a little while it should get backed up and we'll be able to see that. And this is the mistake that I made. You see, I sent the track the wrong way, and I just thought I'd put all the things into a chest, but of course we need these to make blue potions as well. So if we do need more copper cables and iron clogs, I'm going to have to come up with a solution for the coal down the bottom here. That'll probably actually be just redirecting it, so we can take that apart. So it just comes down here and goes around yeah, all of this, so we can extend it. So we should have 1 or 2 produced already. There you go, one's just been dropped on down the bottom. There's also no lampposts down here as well, and it looks like they're not going to produce enough to get down to the end here, but I'll keep my eye on it and see how it goes. Okay, it has been quite a few days since I last recorded. Unfortunately I've had other things to do, so I haven't been able to continue playing, which kind of disrupted the flow of things that we were doing. And also you may notice that there's now background sound. I was watching a movie when I was last playing this, and I had it muted so there was no sound, if you were wondering why that was. So in general I've had lots of time to think, and I feel like I'm starting to understand how to create the smarter systems for managing all our resources. But we're going to continue on in this world doing it the way we are, because we can still learn things. And I think what I was trying to do last time was expand, and here's another problem, I can't seem to walk anywhere. Let's go down the track here. Yeah, I've expanded this all the way down to the bottom, and now you can see that there is a big kind of not an overflow, like a buffer effect, I think would be the correct word to use. And so now there's a plentiful amount of all four resources that are needed to make our rockets. So we can now expand this line and add more of these, which we're not going to do just yet because we are producing more than enough rockets, as you can see there. So I think in the next episode what we'll be doing is perhaps taking out some creeper spawners, but we also have some other things that were interesting. What were they? We've got a car that we could build and check out what that does. We've got trains. Yeah, there was one other thing called logistics, I think. Or have we not researched that yet? Let's have a look. Logistic robots, this is what I was interested in. It allows for logistic robot speed and logistic... Oh right, this is the effect right here. Okay, so logistics robot, and we get 3 different types of chest. And there they are there. So I think that's what I'm going to focus on next episode, all these new things. And just for the last bit of this episode, I want to focus on something I've been talking about a lot. And I got a message from Lord Shigout, I think that's how I pronounce your name. He was explaining to me how power systems work in this game with steam engines and water. And because these episodes are pre-recorded, I know I've talked about it a lot, so I think I've got closer to understanding this thing than he knows I have at the time he wrote the message. But anyway, his message made it very clear how these systems work. It's also quite a bit of detail, so I'm probably going to take a cut and do it bit by bit because it's kind of hard to remember everything all at once, but I definitely understand from what I've seen and messed around with what he's telling me. So yeah. Okay, so we have performance and available performance. The performance is the workload. Apparently there's 600, well, a number 600 is the maximum amount of energy that it makes, so perhaps each one of those boxes, I think there's 10 there, represents 60 each, but the workload is evenly split. So if I were to take some of these steam engines away, then the performance of the ones that were left would go up, and if I were to add more, they would go down. So available performance is, well, it's what it says it is, what the maximum could be. Apparently it's also based on how much water is going into the system, so if you don't have the maximum like we don't, then you don't have enough water. So I built a setup based on the image that he sent me of his world, and he has 2 pumps going into each pipe, and possibly that could mean that the performance of these would be at the maximum, but I yet to set it up. We're going to be doing that in a moment. And also what you want to do is heat up the water to 100, which is what we realised a while ago. I used to just put 3 or 4 boilers before it and didn't pay attention to the numbers, and supposedly the ones that are further away will do less work. Now I don't know if this means it contributes less to the water in front of it, or if it actually just takes less coal off of the tracks and yeah, it's used less. But you want to get it all the way up to 100 for it to be effective. Okay, so I now understand what's going on with these boilers here. I think I misread his message. It's the ones at the front that are going to do more work because the temperature is lower. So you can see these ones keep putting in coal, and you can actually visibly see this here. You can see the heat going up, but if we go down to the ones at the end, because the water's already hot, it tends to take a lot longer for it to use the coal that's been put in there. Now another thing that he described, I think there was a couple of them that I played around with, was adding lots more steam engines to this. So I attached quite a lot more. You can see I've got another 20 in my inventory, and supposedly when you use that many, some of the water will start to run out because there's not enough water for all the steam engines, but I couldn't really see how that was happening, or yeah, I don't know how to detect that, so yeah, I just left that out of the video. But that's how those boilers work. That's good to know. A setup like this is supposedly overkill, but I think it's a really good setup. And another thing I was thinking is if the water does somehow affect, which supposedly it doesn't, it's supposed to stay at 100 now, no matter where the pipes go, but if it was to affect the performance of steam engines after it, then what you could do is continue this track here through the middle and then just do the same thing again, have another row of boilers with steam engines, but it's not supposed to do that. But that is a very good setup. I do like that. That's probably one I'll be using in the next world, which I'm starting to think about how I'm going to lay out my machines and that. But we still have a lot more learning to do in this world, and as I said before, Next episode we'll probably be checking out the cars, the railways, the logistic robots, and then at some point after that we're going to go out and kill some aliens as well. We've got lots of missiles for that. Let's see how many we've got now. Yeah, tons and tons of those. And there is an icon on top of each building. I don't know how I did that. I must have pressed a key. I have seen it do this before, but not when I'm recording. Yeah, but basically that just shows you what you're producing. So anyway, as always, thank you for watching, and I will catch you next time.